Good day, I'm Carl from Studio in Car. This is James's Defender V8. We've done a full system in this, so this was the Meridian premium level. Now we all know the story by now. If you're watching this, you'll have seen someone else or myself, I imagine, tell you how these things sound dreadful out of the box for a number of reasons. I will brush over them briefly now. It's imposed engine noise, dreadful in these cars, so fake exhaust noise within the cabin. ANC, probably the worst feature that's ever existed in the name of sound, where JLR or Land Rover will be using the stereo to pump frequencies out that match road noise to phase cancel them, therefore you don't hear anything. But that means you don't hear anything, not you don't hear road noise and then you hear your stereo or you hear yourself talk. Phase cancellation happens at that particular frequency to every noise that's making that frequency, you know what I mean, every sound at that frequency. So yeah, horrible, weird scenario when you're driving along. It feels like you're in a strange sonic whirlwind, you know. Tricky cars to integrate these. There is no off-the-shelf digital integration for the top one. You have to go amp after amp or DSP after amp, so you have to keep the original amplifier in the loop. Okay, so that's what we've done here. We're running a sort of 7-channel active system. We've done a rear speaker delete, so we don't have them in here. We've got a 3-way active front end, which is the Morel Elate Carbon 63A Pro. Pretty top end set of speakers, you know. That's got the Morel Alto tweeter, which you'll see in a minute, in a custom enclosure. We've got 2 amplifiers in here. We've got the AFM 8.14-bit from Audison DSP amplifier taking care of the front end bridging, and DSP control, of course, for the whole system. And then we've got a HD 751 from JL, or HD1 750, however you want to pronounce that, giving loads of beans to a Morel Ultimo TI-10 in a sealed enclosure. It's custom. Now, this job started out as a bit of a custom job. You know, we wanted a bit of a show element and things like that. As we've carried on throughout the job and discussed with the client, things started to need to be tucked away. Everything had to be kind of below factory panels and stuff like that, which is just great, you know, because you get all of that sound, none of the compromise in terms of space. Now, this is a big car, all right? But it's only big in one way. It's big externally, that's it. It's not big anywhere else, right? It's tiny. You've got really fine places to put stuff in these. Luckily, the underfloor area in the back is you know, quite large, where you would usually have things like, I don't know, wheels, air tanks, batteries, things like that. This spec has an air tank and then nothing else really. So our amps are underneath our rear bench. We've got custom subwoofer enclosure in the at the back of the boot next to the air tank, which I'll show you in a second when we walk around. And yeah, and that's about it. Like I say, you know, these cars, they're not necessarily tricky to integrate if you're a pro, if you understand what you're doing, sort of sonically, but they can be tricky to get to sound good, even if you've done it right, because the signal is so stepped on. It's so sort of smashed up by the Meridian processing. Even in 2-channel mode, there's still a ton of processing going on. So most of the time we don't use any sort of automatic de-equalization or sort of deprocessing, detime alignment, things like that. But in these, we're forced along that path, and then we have to then overcome that, you know, after the fact, after the automatic sort of stuff's done, which you can do. And this, you know, sounds good. Bags of energy, bags of volume, you know, if you're that way inclined. This guy is. It's a fun thing to listen to. Loads of detail as well. These don't suffer with sort of a low resolution super compression and stuff like that. They can be quite resolute. So yeah, let's take a look around it. It's a pretty impressive car, to be fair. I've been using it for a couple of days. I like to use these on the road because they are as tricky as they are to make things sound good. And the attention it gets is just ludicrous. So first things first, you see this custom panel It's a large custom panel that for the tweeter. It is actually quite a large tweeter. What I'll do, zoom you out, I'll get into the driving position and I'll show you with the doors closed, because it's actually a really nice panel. It's a really nice panel to see. Not an issue having that in the cabin with us at all. Apologies, it's dark. And yeah, the only other mod that you can see within this cabin is the addition of the JL base controller just down there in the pocket, just in case you can't see it, this one. Doors are all stripped and sound deadened as usual. We've got the a late carbon mid bass in there and the mid range. I've got some B-roll of that I can show you. Inside the cabin there's nothing else going on, but let me move this truck and then I'll show you the boot. Put it in on a jaunty angle for you this morning, you know. Stitch myself up in the process. To be careful with how much music I play for you, because we end up getting in trouble with YouTube, and they don't ban us, but what they do is they slow our channel right down. You see the past couple of videos have had like a couple of 100 views, which is ridiculous for us. But it's because I've been lax with putting on music that's licensed, that should be paid to the artists, right? But it isn't, and it infuriates me. So what they do is they penalise people for using it. Greedy little industry. Anyway, let's have a look at the subwoofer enclosure. Jamie? It's nice and early in the morning at the moment, so it's lovely and quiet and the phone's not going mental. That's not meant to be there. You wouldn't even know, would you? There's a digital system underneath here. This bloody floor out. That's the Morel Ultimo TI in there. Sealed enclosure. It's all bolted in, so you can kind of unbolt it and take it out, and you can just see around the back there the HD 750/1. You can't see the Audison DSP amplifier, because you have to access that through underneath the rear bench, which is fine, because once we fitted it and once we've got a signal cable to it for us to talk to it, a data cable, we don't need access to it again. So yeah, I've done a couple of little modifications to the floor just to soften up these areas, because this will give the floor a little bit of stick. The tolerance is quite low from standard. So first time you turn a subwoofer on, bang, floor gives it death. But it's fine now. So yeah, that's it, finished this car. It's going home soon. Like I say, I've used it for a few days. It's been a pleasure to use. I like to use them on the road because they're, especially when they're tricky to integrate like this in terms of sound, all right? I like to hear what it's doing on the road, where it's doing it, why it may be doing it, is it particular RPM, things like that, before I set into actual sound tuning, because cars must be tuned for the road. Our cars, at least. These aren't car park cars, all right? They're used all day, every day, commuting, but whether it's repping, whether it's motorway miles or whatever, they've got to sound good on the road. So every now and again I'll have to use one more than I usually would, just so that I can get that sort of, yeah, gubbins. Anyway, it's another V8 Defender in the bag, another new Defender in the bag, and plenty of them now. If you're watching this, you probably understand how bad they already sound. There's got to be a reason. Just get in touch. Alright? Good car. Take it easy.